All right, this is Women Radio WFM 91.7, and of course, this is Nigeria's first radio station for women and their families. My name is Rose Yusuf Kaiser. You're welcome to The Big Question, where we get to profess solutions to issues affecting us as a nation. And today on The Big Question, we're going through with our 16 days of activism. Today is our day 12 on the 16 days of activism, which is a specialized program on The Big Question where we get to raise awareness, mobilize action, and call for the prevention and elimination of all forms of violence against women and girls worldwide. All right. So, today on The Big Question, as usual, because we started this right from the 25th day of November and we're taking it up to 10th of December, we have been talking about rising above SGBV. We've been concentrating on survivors of SGB rising above the violence they have faced. And we've been bringing on different organizations to talk to us about how they've been supporting survivors. So with me today is Adeola Potts Johnson. She is the lead program Women at Risk International Foundation, WARIF. Good afternoon, Adeola. How are you today?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm fine, thank you.
All right, thank you for taking our time to join us today. So tell us so far about the 16 days of activism, how far with activities and all of what, WARIF has been up to.
Okay, so Women at Risk International Foundation is a women-led organization for women. We are a sexual assault center. We take care of women and girls, as well as young boys who have been sexually molested. And in the course of this activism, we're having the World No Tolerance March. We've had other activities where we have engaged religious and traditional leaders in ending violence against women and girls. We've participated in other online activities. And for tomorrow, the 7th of December, we're holding the World No Tolerance March. It is taking place in 10 cities across the world. We have Lagos, Ibadan, Abuja, Houston, Minnesota, Manchester, London, Frankfurt, and then Johannesburg. And in Lagos, it's taking place at the Lekki Police Bridge. Please join us there by 7 o'clock. Come in with your sport where you can use that as a workout session. And then there's the World No Tolerance t-shirt that is sold. And we use it as a form of raising funds to cater for survivors that attend the first hour Warrior Crisis Center. And the t-shirt just goes for a sum of 3,500. Please come out, join us, raise your voice, and let us speak up against rape and sexual violence, and let us say no tolerance to rape, no tolerance to violence against women and girls.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Adeola, for, this initiative and so many others that WARIF has come up with during the 16 days of activism, and the ones before and the ones that would come after. All right, this is Women Radio WFM 91.7, and it's about 15 minutes after 12 on the side of the radio. Now let's head on straight to the conversation. So tell us how WARIF has been able to support survivors of SGBV, some of the programs, initiative, how you've been able to help them rebuild their lives after the violence they've experienced.
Okay, so like I said earlier, we work on 3 pillars, and our intervention pillar is the health pillar, where we cater for survivors of sexual and gender-based violence. So what we do is we provide, number one, we provide medical treatment, where the survivor gets to see a medical doctor in nurse. They are offered, they also offer laboratory services such as STI screening, pregnancy tests, as well as other social tests to ensure that they are healthy, to find out if there are any infections. They are also given post-exposure prophylaxis to ensure that they do not come down with other infections. And then we also cover them also counseling for services so that they are able to overcome the trauma. They offer psychological support. They go through counseling sessions. We also have what we call the group therapy session, so that the survivor doesn't feel alone, to feel comfortable to find other people who have gone through something, a similar experience, that she's able to have a sense of belonging and also able to build her self-esteem back. Other services that we also offer include the Women Empowerment Program, where we work with some of our survivors who probably are survivors as a result of financial constraints, and they're given vocational skills, financial literacy skills, and also given knowledge of prevention and appropriate response to sexual and gender-based violence, so that the cycle of abuse do not continue. And then we're able to break that cycle, and if she's able to take control over her life and her health outcomes by the time she becomes financially empowered.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for all of that you do for survivors of SGBV. All right, let's look at how, in the community or in different communities that WARIF has been able to work in, how have we been able to address societal stigmas and cultural barriers that get to discourage survivors from seeking help?
Well, the truth is it's actually a big challenge to us as an organization. And one thing that we do is that we have various initiatives that address that. And so one of them is what we call the Know Your Community program.
Okay.
So for the Know Your Community program, we teach gender norms, societal values, cultural norms, religious teachings that perpetrate violence against women and girls. We talk to them about it. We speak to them about it. We sit down as a community. We have what we call a transformative dialogue. And then we begin to look at the impact of these things that we count as normal, as norms, as values, and look at the impact that it has on the women, on the girl, on the family, and on the society at large. And then we begin to explore other values that can replace this wrong value that has positive impact. Because it's not just enough to point out that a value is wrong or a norm is wrong. We have to look for something to substitute for that value. So what we do during our transformative dialogue is that we look at things that perpetrate violence, and then we look at values that promote protection and promote human dignity, promote the rights of the women and the girls, and see how we can substitute one for the other.
Okay.
And so that's what we do what we call the KYC. And then for girls in school and for boys in secondary school, for the girls we have the World School program, where we talk to girls about issues that may put them, that they also count as normal, but they're actually sexual abuse. So we're talking about issues around sexual assault, sexual harassment, how to speak up, not shaming the survivor, making them understand that rape is not the fault of the survivor, but the fault of the perpetrator. When we're working with the, and then we talk to the young girls on being protectors and not perpetrators. So I'll give you a simple example. So we speak to young girls about speaking out. When someone is touching the way that is uncomfortable, when somebody, handshake is going beyond the elbow, who do you talk to? When somebody is giving some signs, begin to have the understanding that this person is actually trying to exploit you, or this person is trying to sexually abuse you, but they're already grooming you, trying to gain your trust. So that when in the eventuality of this happening, you won't be confident enough to speak out. And for the young boys, they begin to because most young boys are schooled or socialized in homes where violence happens in their environment, they count it as normal. And so we begin to change their mindset towards respecting women, understanding, respecting their rights and giving women the dignity and the space that they need for us to thrive in a more convivial society.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Adiola, for taking us through that. So this is Women Radio WFM 91.7, and I have with me this afternoon on the program Adiola Potts Johnson. She is the lead program Women at Risk International Foundation, WARIF, and they're taking us through what they've been doing for survivors so far. To be a part of the program, you can dial 07000 917 917. You can also dial 09155 917 917. Our toll-free number for female callers is 0800 1235 917. You can also send me a WhatsApp message 070 317 56537. All right, Adiola, now let's look at how some of the challenges you faced, your effort to support survivors and how, you've been able to address these challenges because, challenges could be peculiar to some communities because, in different communities where you go to, there might be some challenges that, you might encounter. So how have you been able to deal with the common challenges that you get to face as regards to supporting survivors of SGBV?
Okay, so one of the challenges, like I said, is family not wanting to survivors to seek for justice. And the idea is because, nobody's going to, maybe it's the younger, nobody's going to marry her, our entire family will be stigmatized, let nobody talk about it. And so we make them understand the fact that this young girl has already gone through a phase of trauma. And as long as the perpetrator is walking free, she will continue to experience this trauma. So we speak to such families and let this young girl go through counseling Let's be able to speak to her. Let us ensure that she becomes better. Let us see that she overcomes this trauma and that her health outcomes become better. So one of the current challenges that we face is the challenge of silence, the culture of silence. We don't want to talk about it. We don't want to address it. It's going to be shame and stigma to the family. That is one key challenge that we face. Another key challenge, of course, is poverty. We find survivors who want to prosecute, who want their daughter to go through healing, but the perpetrator, comes in and says, look, this family gets in their entire income in the year is probably maybe 50,000 naira, and I'm willing to give you 5 million naira for us to squash this case out of court. And then the family begins to weigh their options. I feel like this money can do a lot for us. It's a case of sexual assault. It's a case of she will grow it. It happens to her when she's young. She will overcome it. And so you see people family begin to downplay the emotions and the feeling and the hurt of the survivor. And then we also have this challenge of survivor blaming. Why did you go out at night? Why did you wear a short skirt? Why did you go to a boy's house to visit them? What did you go and do there? And oftentimes people blame the fact that women or girls dress indecently. But then the question I usually push is this. Okay, so as a center, the youngest we have seen is a 8-month-old baby. So I'm wondering what that 8-month-old baby wore that made her vulnerable to be sexually molested. And we've seen cases of women who cover from head to toe, who were also sexually molested, or who were abused, or who were raped.
Yeah.
So it is not necessarily the case of what this person was. It's just the fact that the perpetrator wanted to carry out the evil act. So the idea of survivor blaming, survivor shaming is also another key issue. So we have to go through a learning and unlearning and relearning process, with families, with community members, for them to understand, overcome some of these challenges. Another challenge, of course, with supporting survivors is also, the slow judiciary process that we have.
Yeah.
Survivor wants to prosecute, and then case is adjourned, it is adjourned, and it's adjourned. And it's cut across the length of the time of judgment varies across the country. In Lagos, where you have the family court system, it's a little faster. But aside from that, for other states, it is not the same. So, and some states it is faster, some will take years, some will transfer. Along the way, the survivor becomes tired and just gives up. So these are some of the challenges that we face as an organization, in supporting our survivors. Another challenge that we face, of course, as an organization is that our survivors get their treatment at no cost to them.
Okay.
So if the person comes in for medical test, comes in for that, if she still is counseling ongoing for 1 year, we're just provided. And so, but the cost of running the center at no cost becomes an issue. So another constraint that we have is fund, because an average survivor wants to care for them for all the medical time, the consultation time with the doctor, the laboratory test, the prophylaxis she gets, the drugs she gets, and all of that. People usually say around them at the cost of about 140,000 per person. And from 2016, when we were opened up to date, we've seen over 6,000 survivors.
Oh, well done.
Yeah, so the cost of taking care of survivors is another challenge, but then we're pushing and we're working hard to ensure that every young girl who walks in, or every woman who walks into our gate broken goes back outside safely.
Okay. Well done, I must say. Well done to Warif. This has really been a lot. And I can just imagine how, from all of these challenges, you were also able to keep going and keep moving. Well done. And I just hope that, it will get better. I just hope it will get better in the future. Okay. Yeah. All right. So let's look at your role, or rather, Warif's role in advocating for stronger policies and laws that protect and prevent SGBV. So what has been Warif's role so far? What have the organization been able to achieve in terms of advocating for stronger policies and laws? Although so far, from all the organizations we've brought, I think about most all of them have agreed that they have their laws, their policies, but implementation is always the problem. And then upholding these laws too. making sure that the perpetrators and those who get to commit all of this crime face the full wrath of the law. That has always been the issue. So in terms of all of this, what has Warri's role been, in advocating for stronger policies or even the implementation of these policies to protect survivors and prevent SGBV?
Okay, so I would start with policies in itself. So with the support of the UN project, sorry, support of the UN, support of UN Women on the Spotlight Initiative, Warwick was part of the team that advocated for the sexual harassment bill for tertiary institutions, and that has been passed into law. That's one success story that we have. Also, because of implementing that project, because on that project we worked on, ending violence on campus, sexual violence on campus. And one of our biggest success story is the fact that we developed a protocol document that can help tertiary institutions design their own anti-sexual policy, anti-harassment bill within the school system. And one of our biggest success story is working with LASO. LASO currently has the policies that speak up against sexual and gender-based violence, both for staff and for students. When I mean staff, I mean both academic and non-academic staff. So what LASO currently, the Lagos State University currently has that policy. It's on their website, and we work together with them to develop that policy. Currently in LASO, every student must go. There's a sexual and gender-based violence has been made part of the GNS course. So every freshman, every student that passes through the 4 walls of LASO would have learned compulsorily, the things about sexual and gender-based violence, whether the prevention or the response. Also, in the student handbook and staff handbook, there are sections on sexual and gender-based violence. They also currently have a directory that responds to that. And so the idea is we ensure that in our work, we don't just only address the policy, but there's also a system in place, which is one of the challenges that we have highlighted to ensure that the policy works. And that is what we have been able to do on the Spotlight Initiative with the Lagos State University. One other thing that we do is, even if there's a law or there's a policy in place, the question is, are people in the community aware of the law? So when we go into communities, we also speak to people about what the law says. For example, child defilement, raping a child, or what we call child defilement, the punitive measure is life imprisonment. When we ask people, so when a man is raped, what do you think the law says about it? Oh, he'll be arrested and then he'll go and come back. We have different answers. People are not even aware of the law. When we ask questions, for example, about the VAP Act, it's also a law that's the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act. People are ignorant about what it is. So, in the course of delivering our various initiatives within the community, we ensure that we also speak to community members about the provisions within the law that addresses sexual and gender-based violence. In that way, when people, even when people are beginning to know that's not what it says, the community members are aware of the provisions within the law. Another activity that we also carry as an organization is what we call the police sensitization activity. Oftentimes in prosecution, the report from the law enforcement officer is important. And so we work with our police officers, civil defense officers on case management, case documentation, and ensure that they refer survivors to the Warriors Rape Crisis Center for those in Lagos, so that within 72 hours when it occurs, we're able to get evidence to ensure that there's proper prosecution and there's evidence in court to ensure that the perpetrator goes, face the consequences of the wrath of the law. So those are some of the activities that we do as an organization, and we work in tandem with other CSO partners to ensure that, to hire out high-level and advocacy to the National Assembly or to the State House.
Okay. All right. Well done once again, Suwarif. This is, quite a good number of things to do in terms of the, advocating for laws, having the implementation out there, and making sure that, the perpetrators actually receive the punishment they deserve. Because I feel like when that is done, even they themselves even the survivors themselves would have, to a very large extent, some kind of peace to be able to go out and try to, get themselves together. All right. So, now, how do you think that we can all come together as a society? What do you think we can do better? And, talking about not just society now, all stakeholders, what can we do better to support survivors of SGBV? And then you give us your final words with that, the change that you need to see, or, just your final words with all of what, as regards to what we've been talking about.
Okay, so I would say number one, that what can we do is to understand the fact that violence against women and girls is not a human issue. It's a human issue. It's not just about women and girls. It's about the fact that it's human dignity. It's a human rights issue. And until stakeholders and family members and community members begin to understand that, and harming a woman is as well as harming her family. We won't be anywhere. And then the truth is that we need more, not necessarily more laws, but we need enforcement of the law to be in place. We also need that, education, and let's create more awareness. Because of the culture of silence, people, one time people say, these things don't happen, but the truth of the matter is that they happen, or they used to happen, but because now there's more awareness about it, people now come out more to speak about the things that happened to them 10 years ago, 15 years ago, because of the awareness that has been created. So we need more awareness, we need enforcement of the law, and then we also need that our younger ones, the younger generation in school, we get more empowered, get the right and the adequate information. Because it's one thing for us to get right information, but then the information must be right and adequate. Because then, don't slap a woman or don't beat up a girl because she's drunk. It's just a little cut of information. But if you give an entire look, hitting her is violating her rights. You're destroying her. You put affect her self-esteem. That is a much more adequate information. So it's not just about giving the right information, but the information must also be adequate. And for me, my final word would be one: rape is not never the fault of the survivor. It is and will always be the fault of the perpetrator. And I will say another thing is that violence against women and girls is a global issue. It's not just a Nigerian issue. However, the solution for it is personal and it is local, because our culture varies from place to place. So the way we address it, which means that the form and shape in which violence against women happens in the East is slightly different from the way it happens in the West. And so therefore, the solution has to be personal and it has to be local. It has to be suitable and adaptable to our culture. Does that mean that we override the right? No. But like I said earlier on, we look for values and norms to substitute the ones that perpetrate violence and the ones that promote harmful practices. Finally, please, if there's any survivor out there who wants to get help and doesn't know where to go, please, if you are within Lagos, you're welcome to the Warri Field Crisis Center. We are located at number 6, Crossing Street, off Southern Avenue, Sabo Yaba in Lagos. If you're outside Lagos, please feel free, and also for those within Lagos who don't want to come in physically, please call our toll-free line. It works 24 hours, 7 days a week, and it's a 12-digit number, not like our regular GSM number that is 11. It's a 12-digit number because it is toll-free. And the number is 0800 9210 3409. So I'll take that again. 080 9210 0009. I'll take that again. 080 9210 0009. That is 0800 9210 3409.
All right. Thank you so much, Majola, for taking us through.
Thank you very much for having us.
Yes, what Warri has been doing. And I hope that we all got the numbers, and Warri is here in Lagos too. So please do well to always reach out. Let's all help to break the culture of silence. Even if you know somebody that needs this help and the person doesn't want to come out, I think you're in the best position to actually help by calling those numbers too. All right. So thank you so much, Majola, for being a part of our program today.
Thank you very much for having me today.
All right. Do have a great day and enjoy the weekend.
You do have a wonderful day. Thank you.
All right. So that's it for the 16 Days of Activism today, day 12. Join us again tomorrow for day 13. for the 16 Days of Activism right here on Women Radio WFM 91.7. So let's remember that together we can build a safer and more equitable world where everyone can thrive free from violence. Special thanks to our guest today, Adiola Potts Johnson, a lead program, a Women at Risk International Foundation, WARIF. Thanks to the program's team of Women Radio for putting this together, and to the executive director, Tom Okewale Shunaya. My name is Rose Yusuf Kaiser. Do also enjoy the rest of the day. Well, stay with us right here on Women Radio WFM 91.7. Good afternoon.
WFM 91.7.